Hey guys, Katie here. Ready for another totally insane story? This one is about the worst first impression I've ever made in my entire life. Seriously, it was supposed to be the perfect date, but of course, nothing ever goes as planned when I'm involved. Okay, so let me start by saying, I had been planning this date with Jason for weeks. Yeah, you heard me right. Weeks. Jason's this cute, kind of shy guy in my class, and we'd been talking for a while. We had a bunch of mutual friends, so we'd hung out a few times, but this was our first official date. And, I really wanted to impress him. So, I decided to plan this amazing evening dinner at this fancy restaurant, followed by a romantic walk under the stars. Classic, right? I spent days picking out the perfect outfit, which, let's be real, I had to change like 10 times. I even rehearsed what I was going to say. I wanted to look cool, calm, and collected. Not the hot mess I usually am. Everything was supposed to be perfect. So, the big day finally came. I was already super nervous, but I figured, hey, I got this. Jason picked me up from my house, and I was so excited. But here's where things started to go sideways. First of all, he showed up in jeans and a t-shirt. Now, I know we were supposed to be casual-ish, but I was wearing this super cute dress and heels. Not exactly the vibe I was going for. But whatever, I thought. Maybe he's just going for that chill layback look. We get in his car, and I try to start a conversation, but instead of talking, I realized Jason was really quiet. Like, super quiet. I'm usually the one talking a mile a minute, but he was just staring straight ahead. Like he was lost in his own world. I asked, "So, how was your day?" And he just gave me this awkward smile and said, "It was good. That was it."
Oh, boy.
At this point, I was starting to get a little worried. What if he didn't like me? What if I was totally blowing this date? But I pushed those thoughts aside and told myself, Katie, just chill. It's gonna be fine. Relax. We finally arrived at the restaurant, and let me tell you, this place was fancy asterisk. White tablecloths, low lighting, expensive wine, the whole shebang. And here I was, all dressed up, trying to look like $1,000,000, while Jason was in his jeans and We sat down, and the waiter handed us the menus. Jason looked at the menu and started squinting like he couldn't see the words. It wasn't even dark yet, so I was starting to wonder what was going on. Are you okay?" I asked, thinking maybe he forgot his glasses. He looked really embarrassed and said, "Oh, yeah, I forgot my glasses. I'm gonna just guess what I want." I could see he was struggling. I was trying so hard not to laugh, but it was just so awkward. But we got through the meal. Just when I thought the night might turn around, the waiter came back to refill our drinks.
As he was pouring water into my glass, he accidentally splashed a huge amount of it right onto my lap.
Oh my God.
I yelped, standing up and trying to shake the water off my dress. Jason was staring at me with wide eyes, and the waiter was apologizing 1,000,000 times. I just stood there, trying to wipe my dress, but the more I wiped, the wetter it got. And then, to make matters worse, the waiter handed me a napkin, which had mustard stains on it. Perfect. Jason was still in shock, and I could tell he didn't know what to do. He stood up, awkwardly moved his chair out of the way, and said, "Do you want to go for a walk?" So, we left the restaurant. I was now drenched in water and decorated with mustard-stained napkin bits, and Jason was looking around like he was in some kind of horror movie. We decided to go for that romantic walk under the stars. Right. Yeah, except it was raining. We were both soaking wet, and the stars were nowhere to be found. It was getting late, and the more we walked, the more I realized this date was a total disaster. But somehow, at the end of the walk, Jason looked at me and said, "Hey, Katie, ... Despite all of this, I had a really great time. And I was like, WHAT after all that? Seriously? I stared at him for a second, and then I couldn't help it. I laughed. I just started laughing so hard. How could I not? The date was so ridiculous, and yet he still had a good time. I looked at him and said, "You're kidding, right? This was a total disaster!" He shrugged and smiled. "Yeah, but it was fun. In a chaotic sort of way. And honestly,
That made me feel better.
because sometimes you just have to laugh at the crazy stuff that happens, even if everything goes wrong. And who knows? Maybe next time I won't drown in water or get mustard stains all over my dress." Thanks for listening to my Date from Heck story. If you've ever had a disastrous date, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.